My wife demanded a divorce right in our home. "You can't afford a lawyer to fight me," she said. I replied, "You're right." Then, when she served me papers in court, she saw the city's feared expensive divorce attorney sit beside me. He looked at her and said, "I don't have to afford him. I'm his older brother." Last Tuesday, my wife Evelyn told me she wanted a divorce. There was no sadness or regret in her voice, only a declaration of victory. We sat in the living room of the house we'd spent 8 years making a home, and she spoke with the cold finality of a corporate executioner. "It's over, Tom," she said, placing a file on the coffee table. "I've already spoken to a lawyer. These are my terms." I didn't open the folder. I didn't need to. She wanted the house my grandfather helped me put a down payment on, 70% of our savings, and spousal support for at least 5 years. It wasn't a negotiation. It was unconditional surrender. When she finished, she smirked confidently. "And I don't want to fight, Tom," she said, dripping with condescension. "You're a high school woodshop teacher making a decent living, but you can't afford a real lawyer. My guy will bury you in legal fees before you see a courtroom. Better to agree and walk away." I sat silently, looking at the woman I loved and had built a life with, feeling coldness settle over me. She didn't just want to leave me, she wanted to ruin me. She saw me as weak, an obstacle to crush. Her biggest weapon, she thought, was my inability to fight back. I let silence linger, then masked resignation on my face and said, "You're right." Relief washed over hers. She thought she'd won. She stood, smoothed her skirt, and said, "Good, you'll be served papers next week," then left. What Evelyn didn't know was I had an older brother named Marcus. Marcus and I hadn't spoken for 5 years after a bitter fight over our childhood home. He's a shark, the most feared and expensive divorce attorney in the state. Evelyn assumed I was isolated from my greatest asset. She was wrong. For 3 days after her announcement, I was in a dark place. She was right. I couldn't fight her on her terms. Losing my home, savings, everything was suffocating. On the 4th day, I hit rock bottom and then called Marcus. My hand shook dialing his private number. After 2 rings, his deep voice answered. "Hello, Marcus," I said weakly. "It's Tom." A pause. Then, "Tommy, what's wrong?" I told him everything. Evelyn's demands, her lawyer, her taunts, another heavy silence. Then his voice, steel, strong. "She said what?" I repeated her words. "Okay," he said. "When and where is the first court date?" "Next Tuesday, downtown courthouse. I'll clear my schedule. Don't talk to her or her lawyer. Don't sign anything. Just show up. I'll meet you there." We hung up. My heart pounded, terror mixed with hope. Evelyn thought she'd disarmed me. She just handed me a nuclear weapon. She was about to learn what family really means. Update 1. On that miserable, rainy Tuesday, I walked alone into court, dressed in my only suit. The courtroom smelled of old paper and anxiety. Evelyn sat confidently with her smug lawyer, laughing quietly. Her smile faltered when she saw me, replaced by pity. Her lawyer approached, dripping condescension. "Mr. Miller, I trust you've reviewed my client's generous proposal. Sign today. This can be quick." I replied quietly, "I'm waiting for my counsel." He chuckled. "Your counsel? Good luck. Let's not drag this out." The bailiff called court to order. The judge entered, looked at the docket. Miller versus Miller. "Are both parties present and represented?" "Yes, Your Honor," Evelyn's lawyer said. Before I could speak, the courtroom doors thudded open. All heads turned. My brother Marcus strode in, not just in a suit but armor of intimidation, moving like a panther. Lawyers and staff whispered his name, fear in their eyes. He ignored everyone but me, sat beside me, placing his briefcase down with a commanding click. Evelyn's smugness vanished. Her face showed horrified disbelief. Her lawyer turned pale, terror-stricken. Marcus whispered, "Sorry I'm late, little brother. Traffic was hell." Then straightened and addressed the judge in a commanding voice. "Marcus Sterling, representing Mr. Thomas Miller." The judge raised her eyebrows. Everyone knew him. Marcus fixed Evelyn and her lawyer with a cold smile. "My apologies for the delay," he said mockingly. "He doesn't have to afford me. I'm his older brother." The game had changed. Evelyn thought she'd won. She'd walked into an ambush. Marcus opened his briefcase and began demolishing her case, rejecting all demands as predatory and bad faith, announcing a counter-petition, a forensic audit of all assets and expenditures, and demanding Evelyn pay Tom's legal fees. Her lawyer was speechless, a minnow facing a great white. The battle was over before it began. Update 2. In the 2 months after, Marcus waged relentless legal war. He filed a discovery motion demanding every financial document Evelyn touched for 5 years. Bank statements, credit cards, expense reports, everything. Her lawyer tried to dismiss it as harassment. The judge, intimidated by Marcus's reputation, approved it fully. Evelyn had to turn over everything. She thought she'd hidden her tracks. Marcus employed forensic accountants for fun. While Evelyn drowned in paperwork, Marcus pressed her personally, scheduling depositions of her friends, family, and colleagues, squeezing out the truth. Breakthrough came when Evelyn's best friend, Qley, was deposed. Marcus questioned her about Evelyn's spending, work trips, happiness, then asked about Mr. David Kincaid. Qley flinched. Marcus produced credit card statements for a card Evelyn secretly used from their joint savings, showing luxury expenses. Evelyn claimed work conferences that didn't exist. Qley admitted under oath that David Kincaid was Evelyn's lover for 18 months. It clicked. Secrecy, demands, confidence. Evelyn was leaving me for him and planned to strip our marriage for assets. David's deposition revealed his arrogance crumbling under Marcus's questioning. He admitted the affair, planned the divorce, and urged Evelyn's financial demands, knowing I was weak. They underestimated me and my family. Evelyn's case was annihilated. She committed perjury claiming fidelity, hid assets, lied. Her lawyer begged to settle. Marcus's replied, no, walking away is a privilege she hasn't earned. We'll go to court and burn her to the ground. She wanted a fight. Now she had one. Final update. 6 months after that first court day, I was a man who thought he'd lost everything, but I was wrong. The final court date was a formality. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Evelyn surrendered. Her lawyer defeated, advised acceptance of terms Marcus drafted. Brutal terms. Evelyn walked away with less than nothing. No claim to the house, spousal support dismissed. Judge ordered over $60,000 spent on a fare deducted from her savings share. She left with a fraction of her demand, mountain of legal bills, and public humiliation. Her personal fallout was devastating. David dumped her after legal and social consequences. Friends testified against her and distanced themselves. She lost fiancé, house, savings, boyfriend, and reputation, all at once, because she underestimated me. But the real story was with my brother. Weeks after finalization, Marcus called. "Meet me at the old house," he said. I went to our parents' home, the source of our 5-year feud. There we talked, not about Evelyn or court, but about Dad's fishing trips, Mom's apple pie, being kids. After long silence, Marcus said, "I was wrong, Tommy. I was focused on money and forgot this place is our home." I admitted my stubbornness. We decided not to sell. We've spent weekends fixing it up, repairing porch, painting rooms, bringing it back to life. It's no longer a memorial, but a project for our future. A place for our real family. Working with my brother, tools in hand, healed a wound I thought was permanent. Evelyn's last shot was saying I couldn't afford a lawyer. Her greed and arrogance forced me to call my brother. She tried to isolate me, but instead reunited me with family. She tried to leave me with nothing, but today, with my home secure and my brother by my side, I realize I have everything.